Hi, I'm Dr. Jeremy Willis. I got a PhD in organic chemistry from the University of Florida back in 2002. Kind of taking a few steps back from there. I did an undergraduate at Tougaloo College, which is in Jackson, Mississippi. Chemistry major. Fast forward past the PhD, I did a postdoc at Emory. And then from there, I moved into academia. I taught at Morehouse College from 2004 to 10. Taught at a number of junior colleges around the city. And so my main focus once I got my PhD was to give back. Our focus was to make sure that students had a chance at doctoral or terminal degrees. And so we created a graduate school program in which we toured the country. We've been to the Stanfords of the world, the Northwesterns, the Harvards. We took our students and exposed them to a number of doctoral programs from the PhD side and an MD side.
My whole life I was raised to, work and get a good paying job and to work for a major corporation. And when I met Dr. Willis, it was just something inside of me that I believed that we were building. We're building something now. We're building something great instead of going and basically jumping on another bandwagon. It's a blessing for somebody like me, to be totally honest with you. It's a place for me to take my clients, my doctors, whether it's internal medicine, family practice, psychiatric, clinics, drug programs, nursing homes, assisted living. No matter what clients that I'm servicing from the medical side, I can bring them here as a home for Priority Toxicology.
In 2015, I started Priority Toxicology Laboratories because the skill set on how to not only run the samples, get the accurate reports, but also where do you get your sample, where do you get your reagents, where do you get your supplies, where do you buy your instrumentation? And then we started testing. And so as of now, 4 or 5 years later, moving forward, we're not only into the toxicology space, but we're also moved into the molecular testing. We do quite a bit of UTI, wound cultures, and testing that kind of expands to a patient population that really looks kind of like my either kids or my grandmother. It's those two types of generations that I think need the most healthcare help. And so my first place to go to secure clients was actually the Georgia Medical Association.
Can you tell them how many states we're licensed in?
Right now we have contracts in over 22 states. And so we get quite a number of samples from the North Carolinas, the Missouris, the Floridas, the Texas. So we do receive samples from throughout the country in a number of different locations. And the courier services of today, the UPSs of the world, the FedExes of the world, they get our samples to us. And so it makes us a nationwide company, if you will.
Absolutely.
All right, so real quick, let me take you through what we do here at Priority, kind of talk about the workflow of our day-to-day operations. So typically here, there's 3 major components. We do confirmations, screenings, and we do molecular testing. This is where we do our screenings. Screenings typically involve, imagine if you had a Halloween basket of candy, right? And your son or daughter brings home an entire Halloween basket. What you do know is that she has candy inside of that basket, right? But what you don't know is what pieces of candy does she have? Does she have a Kit Kat? Does she have a Reese's? Does she have peppermint sticks? And so this will tell you, hey, you have Halloween candy, right? Doesn't tell you anything more specific than that. It's called a screening. From there, we do a confirmation. And our confirmations allow us to say what pieces of candy or what drugs are actually in your system. And so we have 2 pieces of instrumentations we use. One is the 3200, which we typically run alcohol screenings on this one. And this instrument is the newer model. It's a 4500 series, and it allows us to say if you have hydrocodone in your system, if you have oxycodone in your system, benzolectine, which is a metabolite of cocaine. And so this is kind of our bread and butter, and this is really what gives you the most information about what's in a patient's urine drug screen. The 3rd phase of our lab testing is a newer phase, but it's called molecular genetic testing. And so what we use for that. And so here we essentially do DNA sequencing, PCR, So we're looking for typically urinary tract infections, so any type of bacterial growth that's inside a urine sample. And this instrument amplifies that DNA. This instrument tells you exactly what bacteria is in your system. And once we know the bacteria, then we can send it out for cultures and see what antibiotics work for it. But typically UTI testing, wound testing is an avenue that we use now as our third mode of testing. So FedEx brings it in, urine cup gets screened, urine cup gets the confirmation, and then if it's also a UTI testing with that same urine sample, we can run the UTIs as well. Turnaround time is 48 hours. Normally FedEx or our courier brings it in around 10:30. We run the first processes that day, and then the next day I'll come in and quantitate the results. The results will go into a portal, which each one of our individual clients have access to, and they can actually pull up their unique results, see them as a PDF, download them and upload them into their patient charts if needed. We also have HL7 connection, which is also a way for it to go directly from our LIS system into the physician's EMR or medical records. Or we can fax it.